Got a question here, durianrider. How much protein do you need? All right, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have the Chad style. We're gonna have it in the middle here. How much protein do you need? This is like for weight loss. Durianrider, I'm 120 kilos. I look like Jabba the Hutt and Homer Simpson's love child. How do I want to get as lean as you, Durianrider. I want to get as lean as you. I want to go to the start line of a 5K running race, and people look at me like, this guy might kick my ass. I want to go to the beach and take my shirt off, and girls go, wow, he's in shape, he's fit, he's slim, he's lean. I want to do Grand Fondo bike riding or whatever. I want to do some crit racing. I just want to be fit, Durianrider. How do I want to lose this freaking fat off my gut? What do I have to do? How much protein should I eat? Man, you've been lied to hardcore. If your goal is weight loss, why would you take something like this? This is mass jugs. This is just protein powder. It's pea protein, almost. 4 calories per gram. Protein is anabolic. If you want to gain more weight, if you want to get on the scales in the morning and you want to see the number go up, eat more protein. Eat more fats. All right? If you want to see the scale number go down, eat under 10 grams of fat a day and eat around 30, 40, 50 grams of protein a day. The less protein you eat, the less fat you eat, the more carbohydrate you eat, the less you will weigh. All right, we're humans. The human body doesn't want to be heavy. You have to train it and force it to be heavy. Guys like The Rock, etc., or myself, you see my physique's changed, my diet's the same, but I've used anabolic steroids. Just a small incy-wincy amount of steroids, my weight goes up. The more milligrams you use, we'll measure it in milligrams. I mean, if you're using 2 grams, if you're adding 2 grams of certain compound to your body a week, 2 grams, what does 2 grams weigh? Like freaking, 2 grams. This is what 2 grams weighs. This is a plastic cap off an orange drink, full sugar. Like, if you add that much weight to your body and some hormones, you're adding, you're going to become a mass monster. Be like a WWE wrestler, all right? Or you'd be like that Nick Bear guy who claims he's natty and he runs marathons and he looks like The Rock almost. So hormones really matter. And so when you decrease your fat intake, when you decrease your protein intake, you decrease insulin, you decrease insulin growth factor 1, you decrease testosterone, you decrease estrogen, etc., to more catabolic levels. Oh, dude, I don't want to decrease my testosterone, but I want to I want to be lighter. That's just how it is, man. When you get lighter, your test levels go down. As simple as that. Now, again, we're talking functional levels. All right, so you might have a 500 nanograms per deciliter testosterone level and be totally fine with that. Your wife's happy, you're happy, all is good. Hemoglobin's good, everything's great. Estrogen's in good balance. But you might have a 500 nanogram deciliter testosterone level and you just you got zero interest in sex. And it's not because you're stressed from the job. It's not because your wife or your missus is nagging you you're useless, and you're just oh my God, I've got no attraction for her. You got everything's going great. Your job's great. You got no hassles with your kids. You're going to bed at 8 o'clock every night like most people can't because they live in this crazy life that they think was the better one because their parents and society lied to them or scammed or whatever, or gave them sincere but sincerely wrong advice. So, it depends on how you feel at a certain level of testosterone. Me, I can have my test levels 500 nanograms deciliter and be fine with that. And be 60 kilos at 6 foot tall. And be totally fine with that. Performing incredible. But for most women, they'd say, wow, you're too thin. But I want legs like you, Harley. How do I get skinny legs like you? Slim arms and that. All women want slim arms and slim legs. Every single woman out there. That's their goal. Just like men. Actually, not every man wants to be muscular. Most men do. Every woman wants a more muscular man. I'm not talking WWE, super mass monster style, but, a masculine looking man, which is something like Chris Hemsworth, who's also taking anabolic steroids. No, he's not. Chris Hemsworth, natty. It's just, oh man. It is really hard to help people who are drowning in the ocean and you're standing on the jetty, you're sipping, you're having your freaking vegan ice cream, you're going for a walk with your girlfriend, you got your tub of vegan ice cream with you, and you see someone drowning in the ocean. And they're like, help, I'm drowning. You're like, shit, man, dude, look, I'll throw you a life jacket. So you run down to the thing, you get him a life jacket, life buoy, and you throw it over. Hey, grab onto that, mate, we'll pull you up. I'm carved up, we'll pull you up. I'll drag you up, drag you to the beach. You look like a beach whale, we'll drag you on the beach. We'll look after you, mate. And you throw them the life jacket, and they're drowning, and they grab the life jacket, and they're like, oh, and they let it go. They're like, oh, is this scientifically proven to help me? And you're like, sorry? Oh, I don't like the colour of this life jacket. My trainer says life jackets are dangerous. And you're just like, oh, what do? Do you keep walking with your girl, enjoy your vegan ice cream, low fat, or do you stand there on the edge of the jetty saying, dude, put the freaking life jacket on, carb up, drop your fat intake, drop your protein intake, and your weight will drop. You know what I mean? Like, it's as a trainer, as someone who's trained thousands of people since 1996 when I was training my friends, who wanted to lose weight. And that's where it started. It kick-started off. And before that, I was reading my mum's diet books because that's all I could do as a kid. I wasn't allowed out on the weekends, most weekends. I wasn't allowed after school 90% of the time I was just grounded at home for safety reasons or whatever. And that's cool. That's what my mum did. But it made me learn how to become a good reader. So I read pretty much every diet book because my mum was in the diet world back then, which is every woman is in the West pretty much. And so that started my whole journey of weight loss and understanding people in this calories in, calories out prison, this CICO prisons. I call it CICO. 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 And that makes people psycho. It's absolutely insane. Or calories, it doesn't matter what you eat. Greg Doucet says it's calories in, calories out. Why do you think Greg Doucet has to abuse thyroid medications, take a shit ton of stimulants, have a full-on eating disorder all year long, burn 1,000+ calories a day on cardio, and he can't sleep properly, and he's selling sleep aid supplements, and he's using sleeping pills and all sorts of stuff. Man, the dude's a walking pharmacy. No hate to the guy, but he puts out this, put the fork down, calorie deficit's all that matters. And look at what he sells. He sells your protein powder. He sells you an anabolic cookbook, which meant to help you lose weight, but it's called anabolic. It's not called catabolic. And and no one looks like Greg. No one looks like Greg unless they're using a shit ton of anabolic steroids, which is okay. All right? I'm not here demonizing steroids, but saying you won't look like Greg unless you used as much as he's used and trained as insane as he does. And when you're taking as much as Greg takes, has taken, and still continues to take, then mate, you can train. It's insane. Like when I started using steroids, I was picking up weights, and I'm like, man, this feels so easy. And I'm carved up, and I'm just like, damn. Look at my shoulders. I'm hardly even trained weights, and my shoulders, which are small for most people, but for me and my genetics, is like, what's going on with durianrider? Like, how come his shoulders just got so big all of a sudden in his traps? And I'm hardly even training any weights. I just want to see how much the hormones matter, and they do matter. So if your goal is weight loss, decrease your protein. Just do it, man. Calculate it out. 30 grams or less of protein a day. Oh man, you're drowning in the ocean. I'm on the jetty with a life jacket thrown into you. Don't argue, all right? Don't be that stupid person. If I can be a bit arrogant, don't be that stupid person drowning in obesity and poor health and mental health conditions, arguing with me on the jetty, eating my low-fat vegan ice cream, enjoying life. Full sugar, by the way, not some freaking keto, fake sugar, stevia nonsense, which leaves you still hungry. And your cortisol's going up because when you don't have enough sugar, cortisol goes up. My cortisol goes up trying to save these drowning people every day. I'm just like, oh my God. But I've learned to have a bit of a less cortisol spike. Just understand people have been lied to. They've been scammed. They've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on CICO products. They've spent all this. They've watched all these videos and read books from the CICO authors and influencers. The CICO influencers. Anyone promoting calories in, calories out, i.e. psycho, is a psycho. So if you want to be a psycho to your husband or your wife or your kids or your side chick or your new date or your Tinder matches, then keep living that psycho life where you're running on caffeine and sleeping pills and alcohol, and you're not even really yourself. Who are you? Just full of drugs, alcohol, caffeine, prescription medications, etc., etc. Now, there may be a time and place for some of these things, but when's the last time you were actually sober in a day? I think it's really important to have, if you're using any stim, be it caffeine or cocaine or modafinil or Ritalin or anything, you have days off, you have weeks off, you have months off, man. Just to Get rest and recovery, because all that happens is you're in this scattered brain mindset and you make these really poor life decisions. I see it all the time. I've made bad decisions as well. Like, you have to be sober to help yourself make better life choices. Spending time in nature, getting enough carbohydrate, going to bed early so your brain can think properly. So we're not prisons full of people who did stupid shit because they were on drugs. And I'm not talking just meth and stuff like that. Obviously, we're talking, you scale it down. People make bad decisions on caffeine. People make bad decisions on alcohol. So that's just the reality. So I really endorse a sober lifestyle. At least do it for a bit to clean out and rebalance yourself. All right, because when you are sober and clean, and then you reintroduce or introduce certain substances, you have a lot better paradigm which to negotiate from, because you're calm and collected. You're not like just thrashing around in the water trying to grab the life jacket and then pushing away, grab the life jacket, pushing away. You can actually get back on shore, dust yourself off, dry yourself off, have a bit of a sunbathe, carb up, look around, it's cool town, and then go, okay, where did I make mistakes beforehand? Or you can be, hey, you know what, I'm not touching anything ever again. And that's probably the best way. Depends what your goals are. But if you're talking weight loss, never, ever, ever use stimulants for weight loss. If you do, you will never feel as good. Never, ever cut carbohydrate. Never, ever cut out sugar. If you do, you won't feel as good. I don't know about you, but I love feeling good. Like when I'm having sex and I'm coming, I want to come. I want to feel that orgasm and not have to worry about pregnancy or whatever. I have a vasectomy. It's just bam, 100, 120% passion and poof, dedication to that. Bam, like that's what it's about. It's not just about the orgasm. It's about the orgasm. It's about everything, but after and before and preceding and everything. The climax, the peak, and then the valleys in between that. For me, but people out there they're just like in missionary, just tapping away like rabbits, like bleh, bleh, because they can't really feel much because they're just like up and down with the cortisol, and serotonin's crashed because they're not getting enough carbs, and the dopamine's like stimulant based. People don't get enough dopamine from sugar, so they've got to get it from cocaine and caffeine and stimulants, and it's really, really sad, and it just leads to really poor quality life. I look at the quality of my life and I'm like, man, how did I get so lucky? How did I get absolutely so lucky? And that's why I want to share it with people. Because, man, I know what it feels like to feel shit. I've been out all night, freaking taking speed and back in the 90s and waking up scattered the next day, getting drunk. And why don't you think I do these things anymore? And why do you think when I take stimulants, I take very, very, very small dose, like a quarter dose, Because I like feeling good. I don't want to be like super high and then scattered as heck. Why do you think I never let myself get devoid of sugar? Because I don't want to feel like weak and apathetic and listless and like bleh. I hate that feeling. I love waking up every day knowing this is how I'm going to perform. I'm going to be stable. I'm going to be feeling good. I like being in control of my moods. I love that. I love being in control because it gives me a better quality life. It makes me feel better. So how much protein do you need if you want to gain more weight? As much protein as your kidneys can handle. As much protein as your bowels can handle. That's going to be like 200, 300, 400 grams a day. And you're going to gain weight. The scale is going to go up. And same with fat. The more fat you eat, the more insulin resistance you develop. Insulin resistance is aka type 2 diabetes. That's why every single person who does a keto or low carb diet will fail an oral glucose tolerance test. People are like, I'm doing keto, my blood sugars are stable. Yeah, because you're like in ketosis and you feel like junk and you're running on cortisol and you're like, I feel really good. But you can't perform. You can't lift the weights you used to be able to lift. You can't run as fast as your kids want you to run. You can't. But I'm nothing weight. But you feel like shit. And you got keto crotch and you stink. Alright? Just being honest with you. You stink more than you should stink. And you're increasing all your risks for cancer and obesity and mental health issues by having such a low serotonin and high fatty acids running through endothelium cells of your body. Destroying them with inflammation, with benzopyrenes and advanced glycated end products, which are full of the meat and the fats. And do you know what the advanced glycated end product content of sugar is? White refined sugar? It's zero. Look it up. Go Google advanced glycation end products and just look at all the foods. Steamed rice, super low. Fruit, super low. Sugar, zero. Meats, fried stuff, blom, 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 boom. AGs go up. See, but well, we live in a world, man. 95% of people out there do not want the truth. 95% just do not want the truth. And 95% of people wouldn't get to 50 minutes in this video. Okay, so congratulations to yourself. You're definitely a truth seeker. And we're on the same page. Damn. So I guess at this point, that's the deal, man. Is less protein. Do the experiment. Yeah, do the experiment. You don't have to weigh yourself. Just look in the mirror, like... People will comment, wow, you're looking different, you've lost weight, or wow, you've gained weight. People will comment, people like me who are transparent and honest will say something, but people will comment. But at the end of the day, it's about feeling good. The more protein you eat, the more acidic you are, because amino acids. Carbohydrate, what's that? Hydrogen, oxygen, water. That's what we're designed to run on. Fatty acids. Do we need more acid in our body? Sugar's pH neutral. There's a reason for that. Sucrose, pH neutral. Life is meant to be sweet. Hey, sweetie is not the same as hey, fatty. Hey, protein guts. That's not affectionate, really. I mean, we got a fat cat. We call it Fatty Boomba. But that's a cat. It's different. Cats are meant to be a little bit fat. Humans, we ain't. It's bad for our joints. So, no one likes to be called meatball. No one wants to be called meatball. So why are you eating meatballs if you want to look like a banana? All right? Sugar is sweet. We love sweet people. We love sweet words. We love sweet things. Cut the fat out of the thing. What the industry, whoever's done this, they've added all this fat to sweetness. Chocolate, 35 grams of fat per 100 on average. Ice cream, most ice creams, 30 grams of fat per 100. This one's like, how many grams of fat per 100 in this one? It's like, it's 2 grams of fat per 100. So this has got about 10 times less fat. 10 times less fat than traditional ice cream. And it's soy, so it doesn't have all the estrogen that you get with bovine mammary secretions. This has got a little bit of phytoestrogen, which inhibits estrogen levels. So if you've got high estrogen, switch over to soy. If you want lower estrogen, switch over to soy. If you want high estrogen, switch over to dairy. You know what I mean? So you can have the same calories. Let's say you got a low-fat dairy option. Okay, you can match the fat, true. But you're going to have all the estrogen with the dairy and the cholesterol. And for most people, they don't need more cholesterol. For most people, they don't need more estrogen. If you do need more estrogen, it's probably because you have anorexia, etc. And there's ways to boost your estrogen without resorting to dairy, etc., which can have other issues. But anyway, that's just the deal. Less protein you eat is the faster you will ride because you'll have less acids. I've done it before. If I want to run PRs, I keep my fat intake under 10 grams a day for that week. I keep my protein under 20, 30, 40 grams. And your legs don't burn as much. So many people use painkillers out there to avoid that leg burn. Aspirin, paracetamol, tramadol. I've used them before and they work so good. But I like feeling the pain. I love the pain of my legs zinging and zinging. Because I can tell, okay, this is an injury coming on, stop. Last week I did a 5K running race. And the first K, I could feel something in my calves were just getting this insane pump from the enanthate compounds I was using. And so I was just like, man, this is excruciating. And then I could feel I had a little bit of a hernia coming through my calf. I was getting such a freaking insane pump. My calves were just, the muscles just, the veins, the vascularity just pumping through. And it started to hurt to the point where my right lateral calf there was really starting to like almost micro tear. And I just like, stop, we're stopping. We're pulling the plug. And so I stopped, walked back to the start of the running race, 5K. And even walking back, it was like, oh my God, the pump was insane. And so I changed the S's, changed the compounds, decreased my protein intake as well. And yesterday ran like a 17:37 on Strava on this 5K course road. And I could have ran faster, but I didn't know how the leg was going to hold up. So I just ran, 3:30 pace, and in the last K I did 3:20. And I've only ran 3.7 Ks a week in the last month. I've only ran about 120 Ks this year. And cycling maybe about 6,000 Ks this year, which is peanuts for someone as lean as fast as me. Average people my fitness level are doing like 20, 30,000 Ks a year or more, running 2, 3, 4, 5,000 Ks a year. But a lot of them eat too much protein, they don't get enough sleep, they run their hemoglobin into the ground, they're not B12 aware, they're not iron aware, they're not ferritin aware, they're running their estrogen too low, their testosterone too low, etc. Which is a bit of a fine line there for runners and cyclists. Low estrogen, low testosterone can be okay because it keeps you keep lean. but not at the expense of bone density. There's a fine line between too low T and too low estrogen. There's a low normal's okay, but under that, you back off your training, do something different. Hire me as a coach, will get you back up there. And that's the deal. So, and I'm 44, and I'm not a gun athlete. I wasn't like some superstar teenager kid. That's big context there. And my PR for 5K is only 16:35. So I was 62 seconds slower than my PR, which was set at about 63 kilos, 17 kilos. So I'm basically PR fitness, PR fitness on hardly much Ks at all. Nutrition is everything. Nutrition is everything. So that's and shoes, the Nike Alpha Fly help. All these little things add up. They add up. But you won't learn this from your doctor or your trainer, most likely, because they don't know. Or if they do know, they're like, well, I don't want you to get better results than me, so I won't tell you the truth. So many people out there don't want you to get better results than them. Look at the people I've coached on YouTube. Some of those people out there have million subscribers, 6 million subscribers now. And I was one of their first ever subscribers, and they followed my template, and then they just had a great potential, and then we just help them unleash that potential. I love when people bypass me who follow my template, because I feel very proud as a coach, and I'm like, yes, this works, and they're proof of that. Less protein you eat, the less you weigh. The less fat you eat, the less you weigh. The more carbohydrate you eat, in terms of taking care of your cravings, it's not about sitting there and eating, okay, today I'm going to eat 15 kilos of cornflakes because I want to set a Guinness Book of Record and I'm going to burst my stomach and go to hospital. I mean, sure, you could probably do that. Don't do that. But I'm saying eat as much sugar, as much rice, as much pizza as you want, and keep it under 10 grams a day. Right? As much pizza as you want, keeping it under 10 grams per day. And if you can eat the pizza, you need the pizza. If you can eat the fruit, you need the fruit. If you can eat the sugar, you need the fruit, the sugar. Ideally Google up food combining. Because if you have pizza for breakfast and then watermelon for lunch, your digestion is going to know about it. All right. Look up food combining. That's a game changer. Again, it's not food combining durianrider is not recognised by the medical establishment, so you must be wrong. You must be anecdotal evidence. It doesn't mean you're. I mean, it's just like durianrider show me the study that women prefer your large girth, hard banana versus when it's soft and flaccid. Show me the studies that prove that. It's like, these idiots, man, drowning in the water. These virgins drowning in the water, asking me for evidence, and it's like, what have you got for yourself? What I mean? Look where you are. You followed the science, and look where you are now. Look where you are now. You've got myocarditis because you followed what mainstream media said recently. You're in massive debt because you're following what all the marketing agents want you to believe, that you need the latest and greatest. You're getting hustled by men and women because you follow this paradigms that they put out there. I mean, look what results you've gotten for yourself because of who you've trusted and believed in. And then you're going to argue with me. Come on, man. I hate to be arrogant, but zip it and pay attention and put it to practice. And I guarantee you have your best life ever. Just like thousands of other people out there have.